Your AI agent just made a decision that cost you $40 and you didn't even notice it happen. Not 40 cents, 40 bucks. And it probably solved a problem that would have taken a human 5 minutes and cost you nothing. This is the thing about AI agents that nobody in the tech space wants to admit out loud. They're incredibly expensive to run. They hallucinate constantly, and every single hallucination has a real dollar cost attached to it. We're in this moment where everyone's excited about autonomous AI doing stuff for us, but almost nobody's actually measuring what it costs when that AI gets it wrong. So here's what I want to walk you through today. I'm going to show you exactly how much these agents cost to operate, why hallucinations are so expensive, and why companies are quietly losing millions on this stuff right now. And at the end, I'm going to tell you the one metric that actually matters, but basically nobody's tracking. Let's start with the math. When you use an AI agent, something like Claude's computer use, or an autonomous AI system, it's not just running one prompt through the model once and done. It's looping. The agent reads a task, thinks about what to do, makes a decision, checks the result, realizes something went wrong, tries again. That's multiple API calls, multiple model invocations. Each one costs money. Here's a concrete example. Let's say you deploy an AI agent to manage your customer support tickets. A human support person costs you maybe $50 for an 8-hour shift. They handle 30 tickets. That's about $1.60 per ticket in labor. Sounds cheap, right? Now an AI agent. One ticket might require 5 to 10 API calls depending on how complex the issue is. If you're using GPT-4 or Claude 3.5 Sonnet, the model's actually capable of reasoning. Each call costs somewhere between 2 cents and 5 cents per 1,000 tokens. A typical agent call? Probably 2,000 tokens. So per call, you're looking at maybe 4 cents to 10 cents. Times 5 to 10 calls per ticket. That's 20 cents to $1 per successful ticket. But here's where it gets expensive. That's only if the agent gets it right the first time. And they don't. They hallucinate. They misread information. They try something, it fails, they loop back, they try again. A ticket that should take 5 API calls takes 15. Now you're at 60 cents to $3 per ticket. And you haven't even gotten to the really bad ones yet. The really bad ones are where the agent confidently makes a decision based on information it completely made up. This happens more than you think. An AI agent might look at a database query, misunderstand the schema, pull the wrong data, and then act on it. Or it might misread an email, respond to the wrong customer, create a duplicate record. These aren't edge cases. In production systems, hallucination-driven errors happen in maybe 5 to 15% of agent interactions, depending on the task complexity. When that happens, the cost explodes. Because now you need human intervention. Someone has to catch the error, understand what the AI did, manually fix it, and sometimes deal with the downstream consequences. You might have an angry customer. You might have corrupted data that takes hours to untangle. A single hallucination can cost you $50 to $500 in cleanup. I've talked to engineers at 3 different companies deploying AI agents at scale. All of them told me the same thing. Their actual per transaction cost is 3 to 10 times higher than their initial estimates. Why? Hallucinations and loops. The models are good enough to be useful, but not good enough to be reliable. Now, here's the part that really matters, and almost nobody's measuring it. Companies are tracking the cost of API calls. They're tracking uptime and latency, but they're almost never tracking the actual cost of errors. They don't have a clear number for how much each hallucination costs them in terms of human cleanup, customer impact, and system corrections. So they don't know if the agent is actually saving them money or just moving the cost around. Think about it. If you deploy an AI agent to write code and it generates buggy code that a human has to debug, you haven't saved time. You've just offloaded the work and added review overhead. If the agent hallucinates a SQL query and corrupts data, that's not a cheap fix. If it confidently gives a customer wrong information, that's customer service debt. I want to be clear, AI agents aren't useless. They're genuinely useful for certain tasks. But the hype around them has completely decoupled from the actual economics. Everyone's focused on, look, the AI can do this, and nobody's asking, yeah, but what does it cost when it gets it wrong? Here's what I think is actually happening. We're in the early stages of a correction. Companies deployed these agents because they were excited, or because they needed to show progress, or because everyone else was doing it. Now they're running the numbers and realizing the math doesn't work the way they thought. The agent isn't cheaper. It's just different. Sometimes better, sometimes worse, almost always more complicated. The companies that are going to win with AI agents are the ones who are honest about the failure cost. They're building systems where hallucinations don't propagate. They're adding verification steps. They're using cheaper models for low-stakes decisions and expensive models only where errors actually matter. They're measuring the true cost of errors, not just the cost of API calls. So if you're thinking about deploying an AI agent, or if you're already using one and wondering if it's actually working, here's the real question to ask. What's the cost of a failure? Not in API calls. In actual money. In customer impact. In human time spent fixing it. Once you know that number, you can actually figure out if the agent makes sense. That's the thing about AI that the hype machine doesn't want to talk about. It's not magic. It's a tool with real trade-offs. And right now, those trade-offs are costing people a lot of money because they're not measuring them. If you want to actually understand how AI is being used in the real world, not the hype version, but the actual economics and the failures, subscribe. I break down this stuff every few days, and it's the only way to actually stay ahead of the narrative.